It looks like the players are just about ready to start. We'll be discussing a few minor points. I'll repeat the early introduction. This is Chris Bray commentating from London on the Masters Undefeated semi-final in Gibraltar. Playing the red checkers is Tobias Hellwag from Germany, and playing the white checkers Dag Ekmark from Norway. I know Tobias, I know of Dag. This will be a high quality match, I believe. They're both very strong players. Some discussion over dice cups and so on here, but this is a 15-point match. The earlier rounds were 13. So plenty of margin for error or brilliance, whichever way you want to look at it. 2 minutes per point and 12 seconds per move, pretty standard time limit for modern backgammon. It's still possible to run out of time. A lot of the world's top players use all of their time, and one of the differences between top players and not quite top players is their use of time. So Moshi often gets into time trouble. I know Chris Rogers often gets into time trouble, but they use the time relatively efficiently. One of the matches I commentated on yesterday, one of the players only took about 3 minutes, and not surprisingly lost. You cannot play. Very few people can play very good backgammon very quickly. So you've been given 2 minutes per point, so why not use it? Take your time. Obey Moshi's rule. Take 12 seconds over every cube decision minimum to make sure you don't make any stupid mistakes. It's too easy to make a silly mistake at backgammon. Discussions about directions and where to put the cube and all sorts of things continue. And hopefully very shortly we will get underway. Well, they're waiting for the nod from the tournament director to start. But they look to be ready. I'm ready. So let's roll the dice, as Mishi would say. Now discussing the precision dice. For what reason, I know not. Precision dice at the moment are quite rare and difficult to get hold of because the main chunk company that manufactures them in China is not producing any. So expect to pay more for your precision dice in the short term. About £12.50 or $15 per dice at the moment. 15 euros maybe. Oh, and now we have a baffle box. Obviously been requested. Obviously those players are going to be happy to use it. Right. We have a board, we have 2 players, we have a baffle box. The board is set square, and we're ready to go, I think. Good luck to both players. Hands are shaken. That's normally the last thing that happens before the Dag has started with 3-1, the best possible opening roll in backgammon. Makes the 5-point, known as the golden point, so named by Paul McGree. The strongest point you can own on the board. They're shaking hands again. Interesting. Okay, here we go. 5-3, and make the 3-point, standard reply. Yeah. Obviously not the best point to make, but a point is a point. 6 and 1, making the bar point. Good start from white, solid structure. Good start from red, 2 good inner board points. 6 and 5, well, 5 is going to come down, I think, because you want to make the block. And then you've got choice between 24-18 or 13-7. White's not going to have too much trouble escaping from red's board, because 1s, 4s, and 6s all go. This builder on the bar point is now, sorry, the check on the bar point is a builder for the inner board points. Good escaping number, but peg back. So now the 1. So you can play 6-5 or 24-23. I think you should probably concentrate on the attack here, because the rear checkers don't have too much trouble escaping. You play 6-5, you've got an immensely strong structure. You probably won't worry about the rear checkers a little bit later. Interesting choice. It gives red a good 6. 4-1, okay. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be in and hit, I would think. 5-2. Get away from the edge of the prime. Standard backgammon tactic. Not really any other move there. Could have come in with the 2 and hit with the 5, but this looks a better structure. It fights for points in white's board and red's board. 4-5 hits 2 checkers, very strong. 6 and 1, now stop and think. 1s, 3s, 6s, 4s. Red has an advantage and will hit with only 1, 3, 6, or 4, or 8. White. So let that one go. But he's squeezed a take out there, had an anchor, had a 4-point solid structure on his own side of the board. Regrettably, not enough time to go back and review the position. So if you're watching, you can stick it into XG and find out what the answer was. I suspect it was close, but it might have been a take. 4-3, standard here is to hit 6-2 and then split 24-21, which is what Dag is doing. It's a tempo play, takes the half of the roll away from the opponent. 5-3 and make the, so we're now going to be in a mutual holding game. So there won't be too much excitement in the short term. Both players will try to build useful points. 6-2, well, given the, so you could play 13-11, 8-2, or you can play 13-5, slotting the best point. White has a blocked inboard. 13-11, 8-2 is safe, but takes the spare off the 8 point. So I'd be looking to develop the checkers here. And play 13-5. Would I be right? We'll find out very shortly. Well, occasionally, if I ever get time, I will put positions into the mobile version of XG at least, so that we can have a look. So Tobias has gone with my play. Whether that proves anything, I'm not sure. 4-2, probably just going to make the 4 point here. Now Tobias has the opportunity to improve the position by making the 5 point, but fails to do so. So you can make the ace point. Because the race is close, it's probably right not to leave that block there in any way. The 5-4 was awkward. 4-2, just going to make the 2 point and wait further developments. And so white now has the stronger home board. It's a close race. 5-4 again. Probably, unfortunately, just going to play 11-2 because I can't see anything else. You're not going to run off the anchor. Everything else leaves more shots than you would like to do at this point in time. And 5-4. So now it's different for Dag because red has blocked on his 2 point. And I quite like bringing now down the second checker. It strips the midpoint. So it duplicates 4s. Paul McGreal used to say that he hated duplication for duplication's sake, but here I think it was a valid tactic. Now white has got a little bit of time, it can tidy up the blots. 5 is 5. I think it's going to go 9 to 4, 8 to 6. Not, I don't think, going to play 9 to 2, taking the checker beyond where it wants to live. Remember that your checkers are soldiers, and effectively soldiers are only effective on the field of battle if they're in useful positions. So you try as hard as you can to keep the checkers in play. So again, this game may well be decided by a long distance hit or somebody rolling a double. So 5-1, not the time to give up the midpoint. Whites, all of whites feels out of board points are stripped, something's got to give. There it goes, 6-4. So what do you play? You don't play, you play this? This looks, now what are you going to do next time if you do this time? Now we've looked at 13-3 there. But as I said, the problem is white is stripped everywhere, but red is stripped everywhere. It's difficult to see the dice. One of them is a 2. It looks like 6-2. That's truly ugly. Oh, sorry, it must have been 4-2. 3-1. So there's a number of choices here. Could make the 3 point, strengthening the asset. He's gone for the pick and pass. The thing is, white still has a lot of work to do. 4-2, that's good. For white, does he have anything? You would need to know the race. He's got a lot of work to do to win the game. And here comes the cue. So is this a take? So 2's hit, 10's hit. Red's a big favourite to come in next time. White's not a big favourite to hit the second block. That doesn't mean it isn't a double. If it's a double, I think this is a pretty comfortable take. White's structure is not great. He's got 4 checkers on the 4.4 and the 2 point. They're not working for a living, those checkers. They're going to battle or have difficulty getting into the field of play. And white has got 2 stripped out-of-board points on the 21 point and the midpoint. So it's got an awful lot of work to do to bring the position home. This is a little bit like some of the positions this morning, this match between Julian Minwala and, oops, hang on, sorry. It's taken the cube. So now it's probably going to have to come down to Julian Minwala beat Jürgen Orlowski very excitingly this morning by quite a large margin, but in fact Jürgen blundered in the final game with an 8 cube, and as the dice rolls went, he would have won that cube if he played correctly. That as often happens in backgammon, under pressure. He didn't find the right play at the right time and went on to lose. That's going to be the 4. How big do you want to be? Because red is favourite to come in. So 27 rolls enter next time for red. So he's a 3-1 favourite to enter. And if white starts spewing blocks all over the place, in theory, you should take the risk while your opponent's on the bar. But I think that might be just too much risk to run the rear checker off. Let's see what happens. So, in on the 5 and safety the 1, or in on the 1 and then the 5 doesn't really play. So, to repeat something I said this morning, Bill Roberti's latest book said, whenever you're on the bar, you need to see how the other number would play before you decide where to enter the checker from the bar, if you have a choice. So now he's going to have to come out with a 5, I think, because all the other 5s leave another shot anyway. big moment. What's that? 4-3, 3, 4. Yeah. So now white needs to perform. 5-1 looks a good roll. He's probably going to take. Now is he going to take the anchor or is he going to make his own 5 point? That's a pretty big decision. So he's given the cube away. He can only win by playing the checkers well. So long-term equity says 24-23. This is the double tiger play. So again, I would want to look at that for a little bit longer. 5 is good, and it's going to hit again with the ace, I would imagine. Yeah. Now, if white rolls a 5, it's great. If he doesn't roll a 5, if he rolls 2-1, red's playing on for a gammon. Oh, that is not. That's 2, 3, 4. Easy to play. Now white needs a 5 or a 4. There's the 5 and the 3. Okay. So, should red have cashed? Probably not, because there were so many good numbers. 4-6 is horrendous, so red's gone from playing on for a gammon to potentially losing. 6-2 is a complete air shot. Oh, no, it isn't, sorry, it's a second joker. And now the 2. You play 3-1, you've still got 3 cover numbers, so you might as well go here and give yourself 6-5 doesn't add to the number of covers. 3-6. It's quite exciting, this game, in terms of hitting, counter hitting, etc. 5. I was very pleased to see the 5. Now, probably 8-6. Tidy up a blot or two. If red fans, white can go to work again. That's 3 something. 3-1. Okay. The 6 is 6. Now, white would like red to come to him off the 3 point. Equally well, he would like to make the 5 point or the bar point. So this is a reasonable play. If you're not doing this, you're playing 5-1. So this leaves 7s and 11s. 6 and something. Probably 2 of them, given the speed with which she's moving. Right. So 6-3 is going to swap the 5 point, and then red is going to do a count. It's 83 for red. $99, so red is a long way ahead. So this looks like a redouble. And there goes the cube. Not surprising. Has white got enough equity to take? Red has a substantial lead. White has some weaknesses, so some empty points plus some extra checkers on the 2 point. So I don't think white can take this unless I've miscounted. 83. 83 plays 99, so I don't think that white can take this, because if he had a lot of shot equity and a good home board, he might just squeeze a take despite the race differential. Oh, there you go. I'm wrong again. I might be wrong. 4 and another number which I can't see. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm doing 5-4.
Okay, I found this on the web for extreme.
Looks like 6-5, so it's going to run. White white's got 5 crossovers to get home. That's not going to help. So sensibly putting a checker on the ace point. Red's getting checkers in as fast as possible. That looks like 15 to 5 to have a smooth bear-off structure. Oh, useful. 1, 2. Probably take 2 off because all his 2s play well from 6 to 4. So he may as well bear a checker in and then double 6 plays well next time. So despite the poor structure. Yeah. Again, red's 2s, 3s, and 4s all play fine. But he does need to roll a few 6s. That's not going to help. Whoa, double 6. So this is going to change things, and after red's roll, white is going to be counting. 44 for white, 45 for red. That's another great roll for white. Red needs to perform. That's not performing. This is now probably going to be a redouble and pass, I would think. 27 for white, too many for red. 42 to be precise. A huge pass. That's our second 8 cube of the day, but this one is not going to be accepted. That was a pass, not surprisingly. But again, there's some interesting decisions during that game. It isn't always possible when commentating as a lone commentator to analyze all the positions as quickly as you would like. You want the players to take plenty of time over their decisions so you can at least do your own analysis. It doesn't always work. So, Tobias is trailing 1-4. 6-2. You follow Stick's rules. Stick writes his set of rules for opening plays. This is how you play 6-2 in response. And 2-1 makes the useful 11 point. He's going to make the 4 point with this 4-3, giving himself an asset and some structure. 3-2. Now you can hit twice. So he's not going to fight a war with an inferior board. He's actually trying to build a more advanced anchor. This looks like a hit. 4-2. Oh. So it must have been 2-6, was it? Right, 4-3, 3, 4. Yeah. Keep hitting. See what happens. 1-5, another hit. 3-6, another hit. General practice is to hit until you can't hit. And there are exceptions, obviously, to that rule. 4, 5, 10. White's ahead in the race. He could have tried 24, 21. Well, now then. 1-2. You make the bar, leaving a 1 shot. That's option A. Option A has been selected before we can look at option B. 5-4 is normally not a great roll, so this is going to be 5. So coming down with a 4 and hitting with a 5 is too big. So if you're going to do this, you could be playing 10-6, or you could be playing 8-4. 10-6. I think after any play, red might be looking at the cube because of the structure. So 5. And probably doesn't want any loose blocks lying around, I'm guessing. The only other possible play is to play 10 to 1 to take the tempo, so that red cannot or not easily make the 8 point. I think, given red's structure and playability, I'd be hitting here, but he's certainly seen it. The question is it right? Still thinking around. So there are 3 plays, 13 to 4, 13 to 8, 10 to 6. So he's now played the 4 and he's going to choose between hitting and coming down. Right, so a good cue from red. So threatening to make the 4 point or the 8 point, or just run away with all 6. He's got the higher anchor and the better home board. So in terms of race threat position, it looks good. So it's certainly a cube, even though he's on the bar, because white did hit with that 4-5, which I again thought was the right play. Normally, as I said in earlier commentary, the double is not nearly so powerful. The cube has been taken. Six ring. So what's happening here? Double 1 is an absolutely wonderful roll. I very quickly put that last position into mobile version of XG. Hopefully I got it right. It was a borderline take. It was right on the borderline. So you could take or pass. And then normally when that happens with the mobile version of Extreme Gammon, it's a pass when he rolls out. So white has done extremely well to reach this position. I don't really see, you could play 13, 11, 6 to 2, but then you're not threatening to do anything. And you need some structure to combat red's structure. This play duplicates 4s to a certain extent, because with 4-3 or 4-1, red would have the option of making his 4 point. So I think this is the right play. Has he got a 4? Whoa, just 2 of them. 1, 2. Now you can make the 3, you can make the, making the 5 point prime must be right. Yeah. So 1 and make the ace point. You could hit, but that's getting far too frisky. There's no need to think. Red now needs to escape the checker, fails to do so, but keeps his bar point anchor and hits. Double 5. 6 out, make the point. Right. So white needs to come in to put some pressure on red. So red, Tobias will quickly head for the hills. That looks like a 2-1. Staying out again. Now 5 on something. Yeah, 5 and 4. Seems logical. Double 2? No, double 5. Wrong way up. Very close. 6, 4, I think. 4, 6. Okay. So obviously, white, Tobias playing red wants to clear his points as quickly as possible. Again, I can't see the same. Oh, 5-1, I think. So for the sake of a good structure, he's given his opponent a hitting number. 1, 2, 3, and 6 to 3. So again, leaving nothing. 6-1. Now white's in big gammon danger. 1, 2. So you don't normally leave anything here, but the structure is not great. So is that weakness justified? Because also, given this variation, he's going to bear off more slowly. I think you take a check. The idea in these situations is to clear points as quickly as possible, but I was taught a long time ago, and it may not hold water anymore, that against 2-point anchor, you just rip checkers off as quickly as possible. 2-5, in and out. So only bad number here is 6-5. Double 1. So that's awkward. Do you take 3 off and play 2, 3, 4? So 13 crossovers for red. If the crossover count is very close, then you take checkers off. If it isn't, then you either play very defensively or very aggressively. So 2, 4, 6. White's got 11 crossovers to go. Red has 10, so one big double could settle this either way. I think you're going to bring 2 and 3 and 5. But you've got to take a crossover, so that's good. Fix is forced. You significantly limit the you limit the number of shots if you play 4 to 3. It's still a big favourite for the gammon. Okay. Oh, 2 and 1. Wow. That's got a lot of gammon saving potential. The 4-1 should be used to come in, yeah. So white is now hoping that Tobias rolls a 2. That's not 2, but it does slow him down. He's got 8 crossovers, but white's probably now, that's going to save the gammon. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Probably you should play this 4 in case red rolls a double. Check it off and end of game. So that pulls Tobias up. It's now 4-3. Oh, Tobias is leaving the table, so we may be in for a small break here. Yeah, looks like there will be a short break. So I will also take a short natural break, and I will rejoin the table as soon as both players are back and active. One, two, three, four. Probably you should play this four and take the ball. In the game, full line up and sample three. And smiling to leave the table, and maybe was all three. Well, looks like we are back already. That was a very short break. Sound that you're leading, then therefore you split with a 3-2. 4-1, you hit and you split. Again, this is all known. Everyone should know the opening moves and responses. Doesn't mean everybody does, obviously. These top guys do know all these responses. 1, 2, 3, and think about the fourth one, probably 20, yeah, 23, 22. Yeah, here I believe 4-2, you make the 4 point. Red has only got 7 checkers in the attack zone, so white will not be fearful. 3-1. Ooh, you can play 6-2, you can play 8-4, you can play 24-20. I think Tobias would be loath to give up the 8 point to hit there. So he's going for the advanced anchor. 4-3. Well, could be a double hit move by playing 8-5-1. It's as much a tempo play as anything else. Red must now deal with getting the checkers in before he can do anything else. 3-1 is pretty clear. So the tempo play has worked. 1-5. Do this. 3-6 is a bit awkward. So 3 in. Now you either come out so that the checker on the 11 points got a friend to talk to. This is a fours duplication play. Looks very sensible. 4-2 is a good roll. 3-2. So you can take the anchor and play 16-13. The rear checkers aren't in a great deal of danger, but if you come around the 3 point, you're still going to have. You can do this. Yeah, so I like this play. The white checkers are, oh, 4-4. What do I know about backgammon? There you go. And then 2 out. Yeah. So what we call a joker, a roll that produces a huge equity swing. 6-1 doesn't look right. I think I played 23-18 here. Because then red has to give, there are some double hits, but then red has to give up one of his points in order to hit. So you don't want to be hit twice. But playing 13-8 looks a little bit passive. White has got a good home board, so if there's a hitting contest, it could go either way. Oh, hello. That was interesting. Is that a cube? I mean, obviously he has doubled and it was taken very quickly. Still think that's a 3-2 that's been rolled. 2. Oh, come on. What's this? Oh, double 2. Right. So double was probably correct because white had no anchor. Um, double 2 is always difficult. I think you should play this purely. So probably hit 9 to 7, 2 with 2 of them. 24, 22. I like this play. And now I think red still has work to do. So playing 5 to 3 twice doesn't look right when white has got good structure. So I would play 24, 22, 13 to 11 with the objective of making the 9 point. I think white's structure is strong enough that you can't go for any fancy plays. I mean, obviously you could hit 3 by playing now 7 to 3 to 1, but that gives up a lot of red's structure. If you're going to do this and you play 13, 11, but as we used to say, it's difficult to put Humpty Dumpty back together again once you've dismantled him. So I'm not sure about this play. 3-2. Now red needs to point. Well, 1, 4. White's position has deteriorated significantly. 1s, 2s, and 6s are all good. Not sure what that number is. Hello, double 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I see. And then you're going to play 8 for the other one, presumably. Leave yourself maximum. Not sure about this because in some of the variations I'd like the bar. Oh, sorry, there's only one on the bar. That's it. Yeah. Double 5. Oct. Double 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Probably no real reason to give anything dramatic. Yeah, it's good. So white's doing all right, but if red comes in, white's still got the problem of how to escape 2 rear checkers. Comes in, but the 4's not great, but it'll do. Right, can't move the rear checkers. Not going to do anything with the inner board checkers. This seems the best because 13 to 8 leaves 2 shots. The 11 points not that valuable because you own the 5 point. Now, this is going to be fun. 1. Ooh, 1. 2. 3. Well, it's a bit of a joker. Yeah. So red now has 3 checkers trapped behind a 4 point prime, 5 point prime, and white has 2 checkers trapped behind a 4 point prime. So very large advantage to white. White owns the cube. And for the moment, with all those blocks lying around, you can play it on for a gammon. 5 and 1. Well, you can hit twice in board. You can come out with 1, 24, maybe 24 to 19, and 6 to 5. You can do this. I'm not sure. Well, it's legal. 2 is going to make 6, right? So I think I would probably have come out with the 5-1, but there we go. Now, what I had forgotten is that he owns the cube. So if he redoubles here, this is going to be a pass. The question Doug has to ask himself is he too good to nobble? White is about to self-destruct. Sorry, red is about to self-destruct in terms of his board. So there's very little risk to white. What's white's worst number? Maybe double 4 or 3. Most numbers play, but he's actually going to cash this. Yeah. I think he could have taken one more roll there. And again, knowing when to take one more roll and play for the gammon is a fundamental skill of top-back gammon players. Most of them are, or most players err on the side of caution and cash, and quite often they shouldn't. So, Doug is leading, so he doesn't make the 2-point, he splits, which is correct. How are we doing on time? Both got plenty of time. Here, I think you just make the bar point. It's slightly different. It's only the... This is, normally if you're trailing by a lot, this is the play that you make. But I would like to look at that in a little more depth later. Normally you take the solid asset because the play that Tobias made gives him... Oh, sorry, he's losing. So yeah, no, it's probably quite valid in that case. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what have we got here? 3-1. Yeah. So good structure for both players. Better structure for red after this. So he's going to play 2 down. So that's increase. Oh, 1-6 going to hit. Yeah. So red was honing in on the cube, and now he isn't. He's got a lot of hitting numbers, but I think even at 3-6 that this is a cube, maybe at 3-8 or something. 4-6 does get the shot. And we got 5-4. So here red is definitely playing for a gammon. Okay, so red's looking very good for a gammon here. Only really double 3 is going to prevent the gammon for red. So 5, probably, yeah, this. So there are quite a few triples to be had here. Red can close the board. So 5, then 6 down. So it's now got 4 builders for the 3-point. This is normally when my opponent rolls double 3. Well, that's the dice were the wrong way up there. So now 4 checkers on the bar. Yeah. Might have been a tiny technical inaccuracy with that one. 1, 2, you might as well rip them off. 3, 4, yeah. Gammons count triple. I mean, sorry, backgammons count triple, obviously. One checker in, 3 to go. 5 and 3. Red's bearing off slowly, so white should save the triple. But not yet. And he still has winning chances. Yeah. Red is correct to do this and not just clear the 4 point. So a double would put significant pressure on the brass that be. One. Okay, so there's no triple and it's a guaranteed gammon. So basically they could reset the checkers for the next go. I think white's playing on inertia here. Come on, get in. Yeah, that's good. Right, 7-6. So match to 15, approximately halfway through. They've only taken one short break so far. Might they take another? Probably not at the moment. Oh, sorry, it's 5-6. Is that right? Mm, 2 and 1. Yeah, this is the standard response to 2-1 to this opening roll. 6 and 1, great number, makes the bar. Sorry, 5 point. So both players have made good progress. 5-3 is bigger progress for now because we've got the hit. 2 and 5 comes in and comes out. It's better than 13 to 8. If you do this, then you do that. Yeah, no point having too many blocks lying around. 4, 5. So red continues to play, but as yet it's got no structure. White has escaped one rear checker, and its game plan will now be to escape the other rear checker. So here he can duplicate 3s, or he can just play it simply. 2 makes a point. Okay, so red's improved, now got a reasonable point. 2 and 1. So you can play 13, 11, 24, 20, 23, 22 with the idea of escaping. You can do this to strengthen the board. Double 3? 3-1. Okay. Time to go time. Okay, that's fine. Now, oh, good number. A hit for Tobias. Okay. 2. So red's very close to a. Oh, and here comes the Q. Now white's got good structure here. So red has only got 4s to make the prime. Looks like a prime versus prime, and as we've discussed several times already, nearly all prime against primes are takes. Is this one an exception? difficult for Warwick to escape the rear checker if the 9-point is made, but the 9-point is not yet made. The real weakness in White's structure is the dilly boulder on the third checker on the 2-point, which has got very few places to go. But equally well, White is stripped everywhere, and something has to give. So this is a great holding play. Now the problem is White needs to keep that structure, so we'll play 2 down. Red has got 2 escaping numbers, 3s and 6s. So 2 on 1, 1 on 2. So on average, that White checker now will take 6 rolls, just under 6 rolls to escape from Red's home board, which is a lot. But now the next roll is key. If Red can hold the prime with a 3 or a 6, he's probably won the game. If he rolls some other numbers, 3, 4 is a great number. That's probably a game-winning roll. I think the original double may well have been a pass, but again, didn't have time to analyze it in depth. So I think there's no point in hitting here. If it was double match point, you'd probably play 93-84 with the idea of being hit and making an anchor. But here gammons count, so this is I think the only sensible play. You don't gain enough from the hit, I don't think, to make. And how are you going to win this one? You're not, basically, because you're not going to contain the red checker, and this play will lose you a few more gammons. It will win you the odd game when red hits back and white subsequently anchors. So now the position goes back to what it was. The red checker is there. So if you're going to hit, you're going to play 93-84 and go gung-ho. But I think you have to play 93-5-1. I mean, there's always a possibility that red rolls a couple of double 5s and can't escape the rear checker. So you could point, but this looks correct. You just keep the prime. Now another point in White's prime is going to go. You're tempted here to play 9-3 and something, 9-5, so that you've got a board. Duplicates the hitting 3. Is that enough to justify exposing a blot? The trouble is, if you do this, what are you going to do next time? Of course, there may not be a next time because red may run. So, if you haven't read Michihito Kageyama's back checker strategy book, that's something you need to read. Now the question is here, you do this. So instead of making the 3-point, he's doing this so he can pick up another checker. So this, I think, will be the right play. You really don't want 1 or even 2 more checkers sent back. The 6 or 1, so he's going to make the point. Going to come in and it's going to come round. So all the time, White's board is deteriorating. That's the 2 and a 1. So 2, and I think you just play 3-2. Yeah. Looks correct. 5 and 3. Well, it's no real excitement. I think you're probably just going to have to play 7-4. You could do this. keep a better shape. 5-3. Now, if red rolls double six, we'll have some fun. 4 and 2, 2 and 4. This is the correct technique. 6 and 4. So red doesn't mind being hit, of course. Now I think you just close it out. You could play 8-4, but then you're at the mercy of things like double 5. No, double 5's all right. He's trying one more time to get an extra checker sent back. 1, 2, 3, 4. So white is letting red in. He knows he has to do that. White's very unlikely to expose a second checker now. Although if red stays on the ruler a couple more times, he might manage it. 4-3, for example, now exposes a second checker. I'm not sure. This way you keep a 4, but you have to roll another number with the 4. So here we go. Right, so red will now attack the white blot again, closing it out. Should win a single game and move the score to 8-5. Doesn't hit. Four, saving the checker. Yeah, 4, 2. Okay. Right, so now I suspect red will have to make the ace point. Yeah, 3. You play 9-4. You can play 7-2, but I think play 9-4. You want the spares on the higher points because that wins more gammons. Because you take off more checkers before your opponent comes in. 6 and 3. Red will play this safe because there's only 2 or 3% gammons here, so it's not worth the risk of doing anything silly to try and generate a gammon. Double 6, double 5, not good. 6-1's absolutely fine. White's doing his best to cooperate in losing a gammon. 6-1. But heavy favourite to save it. Virtually certain to save it now. Barring a block of, just to keep him honest, his roll double 5. 2-1 from white would create some excitement. Double 3, game over. He's still going to roll just in case a miracle happens to turn up. And he stopped. Okay, so that was 2 points to Tobias. He now leads 7-6. So it's been a pretty good quality match so far. There have been a couple of interesting decisions, at least one missed cube, I think, and potentially one cube early on that was really more of a bluff than a real cube, but paid dividends when it was dropped. Okay, so 7-6. Oh. Apparently that was a 6-5 because the dice rolled and they hit each other. 5-4, up and down, standard fare. Split the back checkers once your opponent's gone with 1. 3-1, great rolls. So white, early shade of edge to white because he's only got 1 rear checker. He's probably ahead in the race. He's got the better board, but his opponent has got a checker on the bar. On the downside, he's got 8 checkers in the zone. I think that was potentially just fractionally premature, but of course I know nothing. Double 5. Oh, sorry, he did only have 1 checker back, so yeah, okay. 6 and 2. Right. So this is the right play going after the blitz. 2, 6 is awkward now. probably want to keep the two checkers in white's own board and get another one hit, because what you desperately want in a situation like this is an anchor. Yeah, so I think this is the right play. So hit with threes, sixes, sevens, and nines. 3 is 3. Now play 11 to 10, I think. I don't think you can afford to play 4 to 3. I don't like this play. You've already cubed, you can only win the game with the checkers, and therefore you want the checkers in useful positions. So I would be playing 11 to 10 here. Okay, post-match analysis, we'll see who's right and who's wrong. Now you probably hit again. Yuck. No, why would you do that? Oh, sorry, you didn't hit because, of course, the guy lifted the checker. So he's going to play with one block. 4-2 is going to make the 9 point. Red wants an anchor. That'll do. That's a nice anchor. Right. So red hasn't equalised, but if white doesn't roll a 1, this is just going to be 13 to 6. Now if red can roll 4 or 6, we'll have a halfway decent game because his opponent is stripped everywhere. 2-1 is not a great roll, and this is probably the only realistically sensible play. 5-2 coming in and out. Yeah, one of the problems with having stripped points that white has got is it reduces the flexibility of your plays because you're not going to unstrip a point and leave a couple of blocks. The bar looks correct. Can white find an ace? Yes, he can. He'll hit and come up. Oh, double 4. Well, you can safety it and then play this, or 62. You've still got plenty of pressure against the white points on the 9 and midpoint, so I wouldn't be trying anything fancy here. I think the only question is that last 4. You can't leave the checker on the opponent's 4 point to be attacked, so it's got to come out. And if it's coming out, I'm not sure you get value for money from this. 5s and 6s are good for white, 1s are good. So first save the gammon, then win the game. This looks nice, it's a 4 point block, but white can play all of the numbers safely, I think. So far we've played 2 of these 4s. I don't think you can leave a blot here. White's got work to do, so I think red's game plan is to build a board as quickly as possible whilst not leaving any shots in the short term, because with the number of outfield checkers that red has, he could still easily lose the gammon. So this is my play. It's the only other possibility of 60. What do we know? We know nothing. 1, 2, 3, and then probably 8 to 2. Yeah. Okay. But now white is slightly out of time. Will red hit with a 2? Well, it probably depends what the other number is. It's certainly not going to hit with that. So the 6 is going to come down. You need to build a board as quickly as possible because obviously you want the chance to hit a white checker. Here, I think you're probably just going to make the 4 point with this 5-2. So now red needs a number that builds both of his slotted points. That'll do. 4-3, because the shot may be coming now, so you need the board. So now's the time to make the board. And now it's a double shot, and life gets interesting. As misses go, I guess that's okay. So, do you stay with the checkers on the midpoint? You might get one more shot. If you do it this way, you take away 6-1 and double one, being useful for white. You're probably not going to lose a gammon, and you want to maximize your hitting chances because your racing chances aren't going to be good. So can white get the checker past? That's the key question in the next roll. No. So 2, he's going to, I would do 2 and 1. It's 15 hitting numbers as opposed to 14, but then you've got the better board. And this could develop into a hitting contest. And you duplicate the 4 that red needs to hit is also a cover number. So for all of those reasons, I think this is the right play. Yeah, I like the play. 3 and something, not a hitting number. Oh, wow, double 4. Anti-joker, that's known as. A roll that destroys the opposition. Very few rolls didn't get white home, but that was the worst of them. Missed, as we say. Now, if white rolls another double 4, he can think about giving up the game. Oh, double 3. Okay. So now this is going to be a single game to white. 6-2. Yeah. You have to play these out because, of course, occasionally you get a freak. 6-1. Okay. 61. Okay, so 3 successive 2-1s for red. That's not it. Okay, so now white cannot win a gammon, despite that very nice double 4. The game is over. So that becomes 8-6 to Dag Ekmark against Tobias Hellwag. Hopefully they'll change the score in a minute. 8-7. Okay, so 15 points have been won. There are 30 potential points in the match, or 29 realistically. Playing on again without a break. And how are we doing on time? Looks like 15 minutes for 1, 3. Yeah. It's probably a bit too big to come in on the 22 point, just because the one's difficult to play as well. So, you know. Here you just make the point. Unstack a stack, create an asset. 2s are duplicated in any event. 5 and 4. It's not ideal. So you can do this and this. This is probably the right play. So white's playing for an advanced anchor because red has escaped a checker. White also wants coverage of the outer board. So this is entirely sensible. 4 and 2. This time you don't make the point. You just run away. Yeah. Three and 1. So do you make your opponents? I wouldn't be quite so quick to do that. 9 checkers for red in the attack zone. I'd be making the 5 point here. I would be taking the risk. I know he's leading 8-7. But, now I can make 4 point. Okay, so it's turned out okay for him. Double 3. Well, I made it anyway. See? If you know you're going to roll repeaters, then life's easy. So, yeah, he'd like to advance with the 2, the rear checker, but then there's no sensible ace. This will make the bar point. Okay, so now white has a strong position. 2 is extremely useful. Now the question is, does white have a cube? So there's lots of factors to consider here. The race, shall have to do after we've done the rest of the analysis. Does he have a threat? Yes, he does. Red has only got a single rear checker, so it can never anchor. Red's also got an exposed blot on his 2-point, which it might not be obvious that that is a factor in the doubling decision, but it is, because if we get into a hitting battle, that blot could get picked up. I just need to count the race, so if you just give me a moment or two, we will do that. White is behind in the race, but has just rolled an absolutely killing number in double 2. The cube will be coming. I think that Doug missed a cube on the last roll. This is going to be a pass. So his position before the last roll was so strong that I think and he had threats. Yes, he was behind in the race, but in the other aspects of the position, he was ahead. So he's ahead in 2 of the 3 elements. And position race threat, normally if you're ahead in 2, you should consider a doubling, which you should have done. It was only 8-7, so again, not a huge edge. And also, a gammon would have got him to 12-7, and he's now 9-7, so a slight difference. The guys have gone on a break, so time for me to have an actual break as well. I shall return in due course, so I will go silent for a little while. Shall have to do does he have a threat? Yes, he does. Right, red has only got a single rear checker, so he can have anchor. Red's also got an exposed blot on his 2-point, which it might not be obvious that that is a fact in the doubling decision, but it is, because if we get into a hitting battle, that blot could get picked up. We just need to count the race, so if you just give me a moment or 2, we will do that. White is behind in the race, but we've just rolled an absolutely killing number in double 2. The cube will be coming. I think that missed the cube on the last roll, this is going to be a pass. So his position before the last roll was so strong that I think and he had threats. Yes, he was behind the race, but in the other aspects of the position, he was ahead. So he's ahead in 2 of the 3 elements. And position race threat, normally if you're ahead in 2, you should consider a doubling, which you should have done. It was only 8-7, so again, not a huge edge, and also again, I would have got into hold on, hang on. And wait, I'm on a break. That's one you want to do. bring them about. Um, Depends on whether there are any high cubes or not. It isn't in the term. Can you just check the heating? Is it on? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. The players have returned before the commentator. The commentator has now returned, so apologies for that. Have to get myself a cup of tea. Right. Oh, the red ends a cube. And that was a very good sequence for red. 6-5. Pretty much forced, I think. 22-17 and 18-13. It's hard to see anything else. I don't know what else he would be considering here. Well, red surely only wants to play with one block. Oh, sorry, could play 23-18, 8-2. So I'm just seeing the other play. Still think we've got to do this because it duplicates the fives white needs to hit. And white has found and now trailing in the match. It's going to be an interesting possibility. Red still has an awful lot of work to do to win the position. And the only reason this could possibly be a cube is that because of the match score, I still think it looks a little bit premature. But the structure that red has got, it's going to be very difficult to bring home. But he's thinking about it, certainly. Maybe because of the score. So if he redoubles to 4 and wins the gammon, then yeah, because 8 points gets him the match. This is the reason it is a double. White now needs to come in. Perhaps his problems by fanning again. And again, it's difficult for red to get home. He's now got it's 5 checkers on the 8 point. White is not doing very well at rolling. He needs to go to rolling school. Double one would normally be good, but not here. So, what are the choices? If you're going to keep the board, or if you're not leaving any shots, you're playing 10-8, 6-5 twice. I think this is better than 3-2 twice, which leaves a very holy position. It means that red can safely play 5s and 4s from his 8 point. Obviously, red is way ahead in the race. like the structure as much as the other one does visually. It also means red's fives could potentially leave shots, although there are fives where he would take a risk and clear the midpoint. I can't see any advantage to leaving a blot anywhere, so I think the choice is 6 to 5 here twice or 3 to 2 twice. How's the clock looking? Plenty of times. 17 minutes. His opponent's got 12 out of the original bank of 30 minutes. So by all means, take your time on this. You should be looking at how the various numbers play. Some sixes will leave a shot next time, but anyway, he's made the decision. Straight in, right, 6. Now I think you stay there and play the 5 in. I don't think you want to come out. Yeah, it goes to a much nicer point than I think he thought it was going to originally. This looks fine. Again, what's play B? Play B is coming out, which is anti-thematic. So this is a good roll for red, makes 2 points. Now, the question is, when does the checker on red's 6 point become a liability and not an asset? Well, it's still an asset, I think, because there's a few pick and passes, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3. I don't like. I think this is all right, but I thought, what a good decision that was. And that would be an utter joker. And white elected to stay on 6 point. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to keep the 9 point? Does it have value? Five and 13 to 7. Yeah. 6-2. Only one bad number for red now, which is double 6. 4. There are some racing chances here for white, albeit small. Clear from the rear and don't ask questions. Again, now there are no bad numbers for red next time. Probably play 8-2 here, it's not going to get shot next time. So you make a pure board just in case. 6 and 2. Right now, only 6-1 is bad for red. 2. Okay. This could be the last point of contact in this game. 5-1. Ooh, it's getting interesting. Now 5-1 and 6-1 are bad, but white's got to. Oh, that's going to be fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, he's now racing. Red's still favourite, big favourite. 5-4. Okay. 5-4. 6-4. So red is never going to miss here. If white rolls a couple of a couple more aces, he'll be in trouble. Double four looks much. It's not quite gin, but it's close. White needs to start rolling doubles very soon if he's to have any chance whatsoever. I think he probably. Well, that was one of them. So he's still in the game. He'll take 2 checkers off next time. He's got the chance of rolling a double on the last roll. Easier to roll the double this time, 4-3. So he will still have the possibility of rolling double 6 on his last roll to win the game. A 1 in 36 chance. Here we go. No, 4-1. Okay, so 11-9 to Tobias. Getting to the sharp end of the match now. Now, Tobias is 4 away, and despite losing, this gives him some cubes that are slightly more frisky than in a money game because a double gammon wins him the match exactly. So perfect efficiency gets rewarded at backgammon. 3, 6-4. So I believe this is the correct response when losing to an opening 5-3 with a 6-4. 4, 1. Yeah, probably correct. Again, he's leading, so he doesn't need to play 6-5. This is going to be 2 down per force. Now what's red got? 4-2, good number. Makes a 4 point. White needs to counter. So the 2 is going to make the 11 point. He's losing, but there are only there's 9 checkers in the zone, so now is the time to split. That's fine. So there's a number of plays available here. This is one of them. 4-3, taking advantage of his stronger board. When your opponent's made his 2 point with a 6-4, you don't normally split because it gives him the potential for a blitz attack because the position is not built for priming because you own both the 8 point and the 2 point. So I think Tobias actually chose the right play. Let's see if he actually makes it. The other play is 24-21, 24-20, but that just gives white an attack. 13-6 doesn't look strong enough. I like this play. 2 looks like he's probably going to maybe make the anchor. 8-7 doesn't look right. 6-5 doesn't look right. So now, so 6-2 would hit, but it doesn't. So it's a bit of an ugly roll. It looks like 2 down just because there's nothing else. Can't move the rear checkers, doesn't want to play 8-2. So if red can hit here, 3 and 5, I think. Yeah. So he doesn't come under 4 guns, which is correct. 3-2 makes the 5 point. Probably won't take very long to find this. He could make the 4 point though, because he's got checkers on the 11 point that aren't being used, and making the 4 point gives him a better distribution. So XG quite often in this sort of position likes the 5 point here. I think making the 4 point is correct. Just having the 11 point and the 5 point is not a good combination because the checkers do not work in harmony. Whereas if you make the 4 point, the checkers on the 11 point have got somewhere to go. Interesting to see that one later. 6-4 would have been a great roll. Double 3 is a great roll. How do you play it? He's going to do something with the rear checkers. How far are they going to come? Looks like they might come all the way. So you can make your opponent's bar. You can make your own bar, but that must certainly be wrong because you strand the rear checkers. You can make the 21 point and the 10 point. But I think if you're leading, this is not the play you would make. It looks nice, but you've got to sort out the rear checkers as well. I'm surprised at that play. I'd be surprised if it was correct, but there you go. We'll see. Now White's just going to make the 4 point. It's nice to make the bar, but here I think the 4 point is so powerful, giving you the rack. If red, if red rolls 6-4, it's not your day potentially, but here he's going to have to go with a 6 because everything else will compromise his position. Now, because of the score, oops, 4-3. So it's not the time to run. So you can play 11-4, but you've got the 8 point and the 2 point. They don't work well together. So there's no argument for 8-4, 8-5. The problem is obviously the rear checkers. Yeah. So there's not a huge choice here. So that's playing 11-4. This is the big play. You're trailing 9-11. The cube is in the middle. Good roll, but now probably got to play 11-9 because you want the 3 point. Going to hit to create cracking numbers. So lots of rolls now crack red's prime. That's not one of them. Now white could be in a lot of trouble. 2, 3. So 4s and 6s are good for red and potentially lose his market. 3 checkers back each. And the point about this is that, as I said before this game started, a double down wins the match for Tobias. So I think it was a pretty clear drop. I'd like to go back and look at that 4-3 that Dag played, because escaping one checker from behind that broken prime was probably more important than what he played, despite the risk. But again, that will be for post-match analysis. So red has run, white has made a point. 6-1, now 3 away. It's great to get to 1 away rather than 2 away. So there's a premium on some of the doubles that red can offer here. Now, of course, he has to be careful because the cube will come back very quickly. So you can make the 4 point. You can drop 2 down. You can play up and down. That might be the right move. So this looks nice, but I suspect, and again, you need more time to look at these things. 6, and then you make the 11 point. I think, yeah. So I'm not sure that White's play was correct, but anyway, 5 and 6 is forced. It's the only legal move on the board. 4-3. 2-1. Joker. Red will be looking at the cube in a minute. Yeah, Red is going to be looking at the cube now, I think. Only because of the score. I think it's quite an easy take for money. Yeah, there's the cube coming. So it was a great sequence for Dag. Could well be a take. Again, Red has no points in his home board, so it's not exactly a threat. That's 12. A very good cue. I think it's a take. White's got a lot of work to do. It's got 3 checkers back. The race looks as if it's very close. Red is favourite to come in on the next roll, barring maybe double 6 from White. Close call. I wouldn't blame anyone for dropping at this score, because when you're faced with a double like this, you see the gammon loss, and it's very hard to do positive and see how you're going to win. But basically, you're going to win by coming in and escaping, and that does not surprise me. Again, there's been lots of positions in this match which are going to be worth looking at after the match to see how accurately the players play. So 12-10, or technical terms, 3 away, 5 away. And again, normally you would split here 24, 21, 13, 11. It's the standard response to an opening 4-1. 5-2 is a great roll, making 4 point. 4-5. Well, one of them's obvious. Now, the question is, you can either play probably now 20-10, or you do this and hit, and you pop out the other checker, I would think. Although you could play 13-8 to keep the 2 rear checkers connected. Sorry, you can make this 3 point. Sorry, I completely missed the number of possible rather. 4, and you're going to hit. Right, White needs a 5. 6-4 is not good. So, interesting. 1s and 3s are good, 7s are good, 9s are good. Red's got the better structure. So that was a dangerous fan from Doug there. So I wouldn't hesitate to double this as an even score. But when you're leading 12-10, you still need 3 points to win the match, don't forget. So decided not to double. Now he may have lost his market. Now he maybe wants to get to a position where he's too good to double. So now can you take a roll? Yes, you can. 6-4 is a very strong roll. So now red is going to be playing on for an undouble gammon in an attempt to get into the quarter game. So you can come in on the ace, then where's the 3, other than 11 to 8? You lose as many gammons that way probably as coming in on a 22 point and creeping up 24, 23. Yeah, I think White has to try this play. I think this will be right. So even after this play, Tobias will probably play on, I think, the gammon. It's got it. Looks like he's cashing. Okay. So then again, to reiterate the point I made earlier, not playing on for a gammon is one of the most common errors in backgammon in match play. I think that may qualify as an entrant into that particular category, but again, we don't have an XG feed, so we'll have to look at it after the game. So Tobias is now 2 away, which means he would like an undouble gammon. He will rarely double without being pretty close to a lock here. That was a 6-5 and a 4-3 in response. 4-6. Keep it simple. 2. Now, which way do you play the ace? Okay, 10 to 9. 4 and 5. Okay. Double 2. Right. 2 of them are obvious. Now you can either make the bar or you come up with the other 2, probably. The bar is nice because it's the start of a really good prime. So where if White's going to build a prime, where's he going to build it? I'm not completely convinced by this. I quite like the idea of moving the back checkers up here because the forward checkers are well placed anyway. Three. I think if you're doing 3, you do 4 as well. Okay, so 2 and 3, or 3 and 2. So 2. Okay, giving White fewer targets. White's got a good position, certainly. Is it good enough to double at this score? Normally double at this score slightly slower than normal, but if you have a gammon chance, you double more quickly. There's certainly a gammon chance because of the undeveloped nature position. Uh, 13, 10. Let's have a look. So it's got a lot of market losing sequences. I think that's a good cue. I think it's a correct take. Making the bar is good. Okay. So now red needs to either escape or develop his position somewhat. That's pretty dreadful. Yeah. Not a lot of choice. 6-3. Well, you can make the 5 point. You can make the 3 point. 3 point's probably better in this particular circumstance. I don't think mind you, if you make this 5 point, it's very strong if red does not roll a 6. And if he does roll a 6, he's got a blotting board, which also needs a 6 to cover it. So this is the quickest route to victory. Is it the correct route? to victory. Given I'm losing 10-13, this would be my play. Strong as white. You put the checkers where you want them, so I think this is a good play. 6-5 is going to be lots of fun. 6-5, okay. 1s, 2s, and 5s all hit. That's top dice, I think, yeah. That is a disaster. Oh, this will be fun. So you can pick and pass, put 2 on the bar. You can make the 5 point. You can make the 2 point. But I quite like this play because if white doesn't roll a 2, red's got a route to victory. So all red needs to do is bring the checkers home. If that's 6-4, it makes the 4 point. Yeah. White needs an ace. Doesn't look like an ace because he hasn't moved very quickly. 5 and something. Can't see the other. Is it double 5? I don't know. 1. Thanks. It looks like double 5. 1, 2, and then you make the 2 point. So you keep the midpoint to keep pressure on red. Yeah. So red needs a 4 or 6 with some other useful number. Well, the 4's all right and 3 is passable. Yeah. 7s and 9s are premium numbers for white, but not 8. So now you advance the back checker so that you keep all your checkers in play. I certainly don't think you give up the midpoint. It gives red command of the outer board. You could play 10-2, or you could play 10-4, 6-4. Or you do this, playing for contact. I quite like the idea because obviously a gammon doesn't cost white anything. And this may just get in the way a little bit. Maybe some funny 5s here. 3-2 is also humorous. So you can play 2 down and leave 4s and 8s. You can hit because this will be fewer numbers. Yeah. I think this is 10 shots. Anything else is more, and white has a strong board, and the bar point is useful for bringing home the checkers from the midpoint. So I think this is the correct play. Yeah. Now let's see what white's got. 5, 1, and 5. Yeah, so white now has a goalkeeper. Makes it more awkward for red to get the checkers home. So I think this is correct. The problem is white's still going to play next time. This is going to be an ugly play, but it's perfectly all right. Now, what he's going to give from white's perspective? Well, it's going to play 6-3, and then probably, all right, I'm just going to play this, really. I think I would want to keep pressure on the midpoint. So, interesting. He's played it very purely. 4-3 is horrible. There is no safe play. 6-2, 4-1 is the fewest shots. 13-6 is the better play in terms of getting checkers home because it's an ace plus 6-4. So for 2 extra numbers, you get a much better position. So I would imagine this is the correct play. Yeah. 6-5. So make the point and think about the 5. You still want the contact generated. There is very little contact generated by the white blot on the midpoint. That might as well come down. Easy to play, I think. Against white's board, you don't leave anything. So you just do this, 13 to 2, and hope that white rolls of some sort of horrendous crashing number like double 5. Or double 6, so 1, 2. Again, you're trying to win the game, so you've probably got to leave that checker on red's 3 point. It's interesting. I think that you get more contact if you stay back. Whether it's right, I'm not absolutely sure. You lose nothing by being, it doesn't matter if you get gammon. And red's 5s are going to be more awkward to play if you stay back. Okay. Interesting. Let's see what would have happened in both variations. 6-2 is easy. No excitement. So 6 comes in. Think about 2. Looks like 10 to 4, 10 to 8. Save a couple of 6s. I don't think we want to play 8 to 6 here. So this looks very sensible. Okay, key roll coming up. Oh, wow, double 6. Okay, white's winning chances have just gone through the floor. It desperately needs a 3. Got the 3, in with the 6. 6-5 for red gives some excitement. Double 5 gives less excitement, it has to be said. Right. Red is one good roll from victory. Right. 16 numbers, I think, leave a shot here. That's not one of them. White will be hoping that red can roll a repeater. So 6, make the point. So 8 numbers leave a shot, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, but not 5, 4. And that's probably the match. Although he's going to roll on through inertia, but no, he isn't. So again, well played, Tobias. Thanks to everybody for listening this afternoon. There'll be another match broadcast a little later. I will not be doing commentary because I have a dinner engagement. So I hope whoever takes the evening session has fun. Hope you all enjoyed the afternoon. There's a lot of learning points there. It would be great to have the match files so you could then compare that with the plays actually made. So anyway, fairly well, and I'll see you tomorrow for the early session tomorrow. Bye for now.